So as you can see, Gary Russell Jr. being calling out against Javante Davis. He's talking about Leo Santa Cruz calling him out. And it was interesting listening to Abner Mars on the Boxing Voice talk about also people he might want to face. And Abner Mars even expressed his interest in facing uh, Gary Russell Jr., which would be cool. Of course, his eye is still healing up, so unfortunately, some boxers get injuries. Abner Mars was supposed to face Javante Davis. That didn't happen, but it's cool. He still wanted to face Javante Davis. Talking about even moving up to lightweight just to face Javante Davis, come back down to super featherweight, which would be really cool. All of this stuff is really cool news to hear because, it makes me excited for the possibilities of the future, of course. Abner Mars talked about Leo Santa Cruz that he should make the right choices. You can't listen to the advisors who advise you on certain things. You have to, chart your own path. Where Abner Mars was talking about, each individual is their own company, and then Keith Thurman was talking about contracts and the contracts being signed. So um, there's always a chance that Terrence Crawford doesn't face Gavaliauskas and actually has a better fight. I hope he does. I mean, we're in the month of October. It's still early enough for him to get somebody else. So that's why, they're talking about Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. If Errol Spence is listening, maybe he should just go at Terrence now. You know what I'm saying? Should go at Terrence right now. You know what I'm saying? Just squash this shit right now. And fuck the money and all of that. Just get it on. I'm just saying. But all have showing go with them. Whatever. I don't care. But there are a lot of other options out there. Keith Thurman was really kind of annoyed to be hearing about Terrence Crawford all the time. But, Keith Thurman, is talking about how his plan is to have a tune-up and then go to either the Manny Pacquiao rematch or have one of those guys, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, some other fighter. Because he's already faced Sean Porter and he's already faced Danny Garcia. So the remaining top-tier welterweights that we can talk about are the following guys that are still in the roster. We're talking about Terrence Crawford. He already faced Manny Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Those are the next two that he would have to face. For Sean Porter, it would be Manny Pacquiao and Terrence Crawford, right? So if you look at it, Keith Thurman and Sean Porter they've gotten around. They moved around a bit. Danny Garcia, he still had Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford, and Errol Spence. It looks like he might get the Errol Spence fight, so good for him. You know what I'm saying? But nothing's etched in stone from what I'm hearing. Contracts are not necessarily signed yet, and I hope not. But it would be good if one of those guys faces Terrence Crawford. If it was Sean Porter or Errol, it would be nice to just get that fight going, even if it's not maybe the end of this year, maybe next year. Get that fight going. We already know Errol Spence is going to face Terrence Crawford next year. We already know this. But what I'm saying is that I wanted to see all the welterweights face all the welterweights, period. And then the welterweights can do whatever the hell they want to do. If they want to go up, super welterweight, whatever. But I would like to see all the welterweights face all the welterweights. As for Manny Pacquiao, obviously he's an old dog, so we have not really come down hard on Manny Pacquiao. But if he wants to really stay in the big slate with the big leaguers, if he really wants to do that, then he shouldn't hold the WBA belt hostage. Either he's going to vacate the belt or he's going to face one of them big dogs again and unify. You know, that would be cool. But if he's not really serious about that, I think he should just vacate the belt and leave it for some other big dogs to fight amongst each other. You know, because we're not hearing from Manny Pacquiao at all. He's still in the mix. You hear him talking about politics and shit, but he ain't really talking about boxing. So that's what I got to say about that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, Gary Russell Jr. He's trying to make a lot of noise these days, and that's good. And his noise is that he's talking about facing, going up to lightweight. He's skipping super featherweight. He might move up to lightweight to chase down Javante Davis. And Gary Russell Jr. is a very good fighter. So it would be nice to see that. And then he's talking about the Lomachenko rematch as well. All of these stuff sounds interesting. And then, of course, Gary Russell Jr. probably can move down to super featherweight if he needs to. And since he's an older fighter, he probably, can move around in that weight. Abner Mars was talking about how he walks around 150 something. So making lightweight wouldn't be too much of a problem. Abner Mars thinks he could beat Gervonta Davis as well. So those are two really credible names that Gervonta Davis could face in the future. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney saying that probably the WBC might make Lomachenko a franchise champion, in which case he would be elevated to the WBC champion. But if not, then maybe he may get the chance to face Lomachenko. Now, let me make it abundantly clear to you guys once again. Devin Haney is expressing his wish to face Lomachenko. I'm not saying that Lomachenko was ducking Devin Haney, and this is the point as it's different to what everything else everybody else is saying. So people are talking about how Errol Spence is ducking Terrence Crawford. How the fuck can you be ducking Terrence Crawford and he faced Sean Porter? Right? He can't be ducking and he's facing another champion. He's WBC champion at that. So this is where we differ. I never said that Canelo ducked Demetrius Andrade. And the reasoning behind Canelo facing Demetrius Andrade, I said, was he's a good fighter, got good skills. On top of that, Canelo expressed that he wanted to unify all the belts. That's what Canelo said. So I was going on what Canelo said. In the case of Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko, what you dumbasses don't realize is I am talking about Devin Haney facing Lomachenko, and I think he can beat Lomachenko mainly because I'm looking at Lomachenko's limited skill set. His skill set is he's a mid-range fighter. He's not an outboxer, definitely not, and he's not an in-fighter. And I know Devin Haney can do all those things, and that's why I say he can beat him. Okay? And I also know how to beat Lomachenko, so that's why I'm saying that. Now, you can't say that for Errol Spence. Errol Spence has shown everything. He's an all-around fighter. He's an all-around game. So when you talk about Terrence Crawford beating Errol Spence, how? How is he going to beat him? And Errol Spence is a dude that goes to the body and breaks you down. So if Terrence Crawford is excessively moving around, Errol Spence will get to his body. Errol Spence has gotten to everybody's body. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's body. So at the end of the day, the fight's going to be where Terrence Crawford is either ultra defensive, like Mikey Garcia, or Errol Spence is just beating him to the body all the time. And he's taking punishment in the later rounds. Like I said before, I am not one of those people that just bump my gum. I don't just talk, right? And I listen to Intangible Boxing, try to talk about all the predictions I got wrong, like with Guillermo Marignell and Vasily Lomachenko. I think what he said, some other stuff, like Kovalov and whoever else. I get predictions wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are certain predictions I ain't gonna get wrong. And this is one of them. Okay? You know, because again, it's just like sometimes people just don't understand, man. People watch Errol versus Sean Porter and they think that Errol got flaws and stuff. No, Sean Porter is a fighter that's just very, very good at what he does. All right? He's just very, very good at what he does. And he's underrated. And a lot of people have been underrated. He's never been the A side. He's never been the guy that the promotional companies push. Okay, he and Kenny. But people are now seeing what Sean Porter really is. Okay, and they feel because Sean Porter does it, then Danny Garcia can do it. And Terrence Crawford, no fucking way. They can't do it. First of all, both of them can't do what Sean Porter does. None of them bob and weave. None of them dip and slip. None of them use shotgun jabs and all that shit. Okay, so they're not those kinds of fighters. They're just not. All right, they're not. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mars, critique Leo Santa Cruz on not really having good fights because he has his own brain, but he's not using his own brain. He's just going with whatever he's advised to do. And I find that really stupid for real. For real. Leo's only had two major fights in his career, Abner Mars and Carl Frampton. That's it. He had a rematch with Carl Frampton. He had a rematch with Abner Mars. That's it. He ain't got nothing else on his plate. Gary Russell Jr., Lomachenko. That's it. He ain't got no other notable names. And Gary Russell's now realizing his career is coming to an end. And so he's trying to push now. He wasn't pushing all the other times, at least not in the open. Maybe he was doing behind closed doors, but now he's really starting to turn it up. And he better turn it up. You know what I'm saying? He better turn it up. He better get a good fight too. You know what I'm saying? Because he's becoming irrelevant. I forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? And so I hope that he chases after the big fights. I hope he gets some of the big fights. Abner Mars talking about one of the big fights. Abner Mars always one of the best, and that sounds good. Hopefully he heals up and his eye is perfectly fine so he can get back in the ring and really do what he needs to do. Listen to Keith Thurman as well. Keith Thurman said some pretty interesting things. And I find it really cool because Keith Thurman said something like he was talking about how Um, it's talking about how in boxing it's all about contracts. If the contract isn't signed, then it's just we just talking. We're premature about things. So that'd be interesting to find out. I can't say what um, Errol Spence will do next. Hopefully he makes a nice decision because the Danny Garcia fight is not. I mean, everybody not really looking forward to a Danny Garcia fight. And like I said before, from my understanding of how the fight would go, I think that Errol Spence will break him down and then we'll really put a pounding on him in the later rounds. He'll be stealing punches, stealing body shots as the fight goes along. Danny will look like he's doing something at certain points, but then later on in the fight, because Danny will get his jab to the pit and stuff in on Errol. Don't get me wrong. But at the end, by the mid range, all Errol has to do is fight him from a distance a bit, box him a bit. Because Danny is a guy who will walk you down a bit, but if you walk Danny down as well, he gets pushed back. So because when Sean started bringing the heat to Danny, Danny was pushed back. So I mean, Errol, just looking at that, he can push Danny. I'm pretty sure Errol has the capacity to push Danny back because that's what he do. He body punch, right? And so he would break down Danny slowly, 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 and then crash him in the later rounds. And Danny being he's not a true welterweight, he would take a pounding for that. And it's the same thing with Terrence Crawford. Errol's going to steal punches, steal punches, steal punches, just like we did with Sean Porter, just like we did with every single fighter, including Mikey Garcia. Steal shots where he can get them. He's not going to be as bold as he was with Mikey. He's going to be cautious to return fire. You know, he's going to fight Terrence a lot cleaner because Terrence doesn't have that veracity like Sean Porter. So where Sean Porter will make you fight his fight, Terrence Crawford can't do that. So Terrence Crawford probably won't try and fight him first from a distance to survey and understand what he's dealing with, trying to make sure and verify that what they worked on in their game plan could work there, and Terrence is going to try and take it to him in certain points. He's going to try to box smart from the outside sometimes. But Errol's a guy, man. He can force you to start boxing and doing things you don't really want to do. Errol can also do that because he's an inside fighter. That's what he do. He do the body work. So I could see Errol breaking down Terrence, and then in the later rounds, the championship rounds, just really trying to rip it to try and get the KO on him. So that's why I said, you see, that's what you do. Body work breaks people down, and that's what Errol does. He systematically breaks people down. I'm sure Terrence is going to look at certain things that Sean Porter did and try and implement them. But there's certain things Sean Porter does. It takes years and years and years to do that. Years. Ask Coach Eric Bradley, the fight doctor from Master Boxing. They take years to do. And as much as people talk about Terrence has got better skills than Errol Spence, styles make fights. Styles make fights. I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. Styles make fights. Errol is not Marvin Hagler. He might have a Marvin Hagler mentality, but he's not Marvin Hagler. He's a lot slicker. Marvin Hagler got hit too much. He's a lot slicker. He's not really a switch hitter. He can box orthodox. I've seen him go orthodox on Mikey Garcia. He can box you. He can bang. He can even fight. Errol is not some one-dimensional guy. All right. So I'm just saying. Okay. Terrence Price was he's a great fighter, but Errol's some serious problems. He's a mixture of strength, power, technique, skill, intelligence, and consistency. Consistently will break you down. If you got to go dirty, you go dirty. Anyways, man, I think that Gary Russell Jr. trying to get these fights, make things happen is interesting in the sport of boxing. We got some upcoming fights coming up pretty soon. I think this weekend is going to be free, but next week it's going to be interesting. So looking forward to that. And yeah. Oh, another thing, man. Ali Bashir, as was reported in the news, he had a brain bleed from that punch. That's some crazy ass shit, man. That punch was a real serious punch. broke his cheekbone, busted up his mouth, and also caused a brain bleed. And so he's back in the hospital, and they're trying to control that. Hopefully, everything will be under control. Zab Judah went in there. We're praying for his quick recovery. So I hope you guys pray for his quick recovery. Um, shit. Yeah. And thank God they got him back in there. Hopefully he will recover. You guys' prayers will be very useful at this point in time. Good thing they isolated the brain bleed. Now they just have to make sure that he makes it out alive and healthy. And I think that can happen with the kind of medical care that they have. I hope so. Um, but you see, this is what I'm talking about. The consequences of these things can be very, very detrimental. I hope that guy gets charged with aggravated assault, whoever it is. I hope they get charged with aggravated assault. Right? Like I said before, I hope that the person gets caught and prosecuted. But my point was, all of this didn't have to happen. Didn't have to happen. You know what I'm saying? You got to know when and where you are, man. It's dangerous out here. There are assholes everywhere. And that's my point. And hopefully the lesson is learned by not just Ali Bashir, but everybody. Because everybody don't share all values. Everybody wasn't raised the same way. And then in fucking Flint, Michigan, you expect the people to have good values and shit. They're people who just don't have it. You got to know where you are, man. You got to know where you are. You got to be smart about it. Right? It's dangerous out here. You got to move smart. So, that's what I'm saying. And if he didn't do what he do, this would never have happened. All right. It's just how he approached it, how he did things that triggered off a series of events that led to an asshole doing him what it did. That asshole really damaged his ass. Rocked his ass crazy, man. And that's terrible. It's terrible because Clarissa Shields, she don't have no fight no more. It's terrible because he's in the hospital. It's terrible because the girl who he's training, she's in jeopardy of not being trained anymore. All the knowledge he has is about to go down the drain if he dies or if he gets very sick or he gets some sort of serious after effect from the shit. Right? But it's a lesson to be learned here, people. Boxing is not a play game. It's a dangerous sport. It's a very dangerous sport. And if this is not a lesson to people not to even think that you some kind of street fighter and you could take on a boxer and beat their ass, don't try to do it. They can be charged with aggravated assault for hitting you. Okay? That's why I didn't ever really truly believe that Floyd Mayweather beat up the mother of his children. I just never believed that because Floyd, even though he got bad hands, if he were to punch a woman anywhere, even in the skull, you're talking about a fractured skull immediately. One punch, fractured skull. All right? That's what would happen. You know, if a boxer punches you in your skull or in your head, you could have an internal hemorrhaging of your brain. You saw what happened to Ali Bashir. Just imagine if Floyd did that to a woman. If Floyd punched a woman, I don't care if he punched her in the skull, in the head. They're saying that he punched her in the head. If he punched a woman in her head, he could rupture something inside of her brain. And he definitely would fracture her skull. Because boxers, that's how powerful boxers are. That's what they do. They punch. You understand? You saw a guy punched out of his chair and it broke his cheekbone. Broke his cheekbone. Knocked out his teeth. Some crazy ass shit, huh? All right, peoples. I'm out of here. But again, we need to pray for Ali Bashir's swift healing for his body. Hopefully he can come back and train. Adonis Stevenson, we saw him punching the heavy bag, man. The man looks good punching the heavy bag. He's coming back from his coma. Zab Judah's back up and talking away and doing interviews again. So he came back from his brain bleed. So it's very possible. And again, I have confidence that Ali Bashir is a fighter. So I have the confidence that he can make it back out of this situation. You know, Abdul Mars had the detached retina. Sugar Ray Leonard had a detached retina, you know what I'm saying? I mean, boxers go through a lot of shit in hell, but at the end of the day, they come back, some of them. So let's pray for Ali Bashir himself. who's been in the sport of boxing, a great asset to the sport of boxing, to come back from his situation. And guys, we got to keep our fingers crossed in terms of other things that happen in the sport of boxing. But as boxing fans, as much as I shit talk with you guys and stuff like that, don't take it personally because I'm just shit talking. Um, as boxing fans, I hope that you guys will rally behind everybody. It's a fraternity, this boxing fraternity, and we are just boxing fans. But in reality, Ali Bashir, he knows Clarissa Shields, and Clarissa Shields knows Habizan, I think is her name. They know each other, and it's like it's a fraternity. So let's be supportive of someone who is right now in a fraternity in some serious situations. Let's hope they push through, right? All shit talking aside, hope they pulls through, and that he can give to the sport some more of his expertise and knowledge. I look forward to seeing him healthy and strong once again. So, on that note, guys, I gotta get out of here and go get something again to eat. But it was really fun talking with you guys about boxing. Don't get it twisted. I might be talking all kinds of shit and cussing and all kinds of things, but it's just boxing. Okay, it's just talk. I don't mean anything by it. I just be clowning around. Sometimes you see me break out laughing in the middle of it because I know what I look like on film. It must look really funny, but we just talking, man. We just talking, and it's good. It's good talking boxing with you guys. And by the way, when I say fuck Barbarian, I'm not talking like I'm not wishing him ill. I'm just talking about like, get out of here with that shit. That shit is yesterday's news. That's what I mean by it. Not necessarily, oh, go to hell, you old man. I hope you die right now. It's not like that. Okay. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like that. That's all I mean. So don't y'all don't take it the wrong way. I don't talk knowledge to be violent and that kind of shit. I just mean it in shit talk language. But I know where I am and I know what I'm doing and I know what platform I am on. I'm aware of my surroundings. So sometimes I need to clarify so people know it's not like I'm trying to hate on Bob Arum like that. But I don't like the way how he cares about business, be honest with you. And I know that behind the scenes, all them guys is in a fraternity, all of them respect each other like that. So don't get it twisted. You know, when I say fuck Bob, I understand very well the fraternity that I'm talking to. A lot of people respect Bob Arum, and they should. There's a lot to learn from him. The way he conducts business with Top Rank and so on. I just don't like how he sometimes promotes things in such a negative light, and how he also hurts black fighters, or he hurts fighters who are very good and deserving, and he puts them down. You can't be putting down Danny Garcia and Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. You can't be putting these guys down, man. That's not cool, man. He has a kind of dirty way of doing business that I just don't like. I really don't. Why you gotta trash a fighter who ain't done you nothing? Aggressively trash a fighter to make a fight. You know what I'm saying? I know there's something called shit talking, but then there's another thing called trashing a fighter. Like you disrespecting their whole career. Okay, if you want to disrespect their whole career, you could play that game. That's what I always say. I say, all right, you want to disrespect this fighter's career? Do understand now? I'm about to add out. I'm about to hand out disses now, and y'all gonna really not be happy about that. Because when you know boxing, it's easy to pull the files on different things. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to pull different people's files. If we want to go dirty, okay, let's go dirty. Okay, fine. We're gonna gather dirt on everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do it for one, you got to do it for all. You can't be selective about shit. I was listening to some of you guys talking about how, I'm not being consistent with things, and I've been completely consistent all the way through. I've been telling the truth all the way through, but you guys just picked a side. You all picked Terrence Crawford's side, and I am not picking Errol Spence's side. That's the thing. Y'all think I'm picking a side? I'm just telling you all the truth. I'm telling you all the truth. I'm emphasizing on this time size matters because strength matters. And I'm just saying that once Terrence Crawford is up to speed with his strength, we're gonna have a different kind of fight. with all these welterweights. You know, he's building his strength right now, which he's supposed to be doing. You got to do your homework, baby. Anyways, people, I will catch you guys later. Deuces. I'm out of here. It's nice talking to you guys, though. It's really a lot of fun talking with you guys on boxing. Tommy Temper. Oh, yeah. As I said before, I'm putting out a lot of videos on fights. Expect one of the videos to come out tonight, which will be Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. And then I'm going to skip over. Well, actually, I said I was going to do Canelo versus Triple G 1. What I'm going to do is check Canelo versus Triple G 1. Then I'm going to do Canelo versus Triple G 2. Then I'm going to do Triple G versus Derevyanchenko. Okay? I'm also going to do a little breakdown Sugar Ray Leonard's style of fighting, which is very interesting. It evolved a little bit as he got older, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that one too. All right? So, peace to you guys. Look out for the other videos tonight, and have a good one.